Welcome to Topic 12, Lesson 2, Notes, Finding the Percent of a Number. For this one, mostly what we're going to do is just kind of go through some examples together. You should be able to pick up on it pretty easily at this point, especially through the use of a calculator. So let's just dive right in here and take a look. So it says, let's say you took a test with 100 questions on it. If you scored an 80% on the test, what does that mean? Well, 80% means 80, let's see. Apparently my pen's not on. Let's get some colors matching here. So if you got an 80%, that means that you got 80 out of 100. So an 80% on a test with 100 questions mean you got 80 correct out of the total 100. Okay, so overall, it's pretty easy to find the percent of a number if the total is already out of 100. Okay, so let's say you ended up with exactly 100 pieces of candy after Halloween. If 62% of the candy is chocolate, well, what does that mean? Well, 62% means 62 out of 100. So if you have 100 pieces of candy total, then you know that 62 of those are chocolate. Okay, what that is, that's called finding the percent of a number. So 62% of 100 is 62. So it's pretty simple when it's out of 100. That's super easy. But let's say you got a 90% on a test. If that test had 100 questions, this would mean that you got 90 correct out of 100. But what if the test only had 20 questions? Well, how many did you get right? We need to find 90% of 20. We can set this up as a proportion, as in what number out of 20 is the same as 90 out of 100. So when I look at my two pieces of my proportion here, I've got a part and a whole on the left, and I've got 90% is 90 out of 100. So we can fill in that right side. We know that's going to be 90 out of 100. Okay, this is my total, or the whole. Okay, and we know 90% of it. Well, I need to know, what if the whole, or the total, was only 20? I need to figure out what that part is. Well, to do that, I don't know what it is right now, and when we don't know what a number is, we fill it in with a variable, so I'm going to use x. And from here, it's simple enough. We know how to solve this. We know that I need to cross multiply, take 20 times 90. You can use a calculator for this. Sometimes it's simple and you shouldn't need it. For example, 20 times 90 is 1,800 or 1,800. And then I'm going to divide that by my third number here, this 100. So I'm going to take 1,800 divided by 100. Again, calculator if you need to, or if you know the division trick of dividing by 100, I can cross out my zeros, and it leaves me with 18. So I know that x equals 18, or in this case, I know that I got 18 questions correct out of 20. 18 questions correct out of 20. Okay, so finding the percent of a number is as simple as setting a proportion, because we know the percent is always out of 100, therefore we can compare it to whatever the situation calls for. Go ahead and turn your paper over and let's try another one together. So let's just pretend that we just surveyed 40 people. 70% of them said that pizza is their favorite food. If we had surveyed 100 people total, that would mean 70 out of the 100 chose pizza. So right there, I know my comparison. I know my 70% is a 70 out of 100. Okay, but we only surveyed 40 people. So in my other comparison, I'm looking for 40 people. I need to know what that missing piece is, which I don't know, because that's what the question is how many people out of 40. Okay, so from here, we know it's a proportion. I know I can just go through and solve it. Cross multiply. 40 times 70 is 2,800. That's as simple as 4 times 7 is 28. And then I bring up my two zeros. Okay, and then I divide by that third number, divide by 100. Okay, again, calculator, or if you know your hundreds trick, cross out your zeros. That leaves me with 28. Okay, so I know that 28 out of the 40 people chose pizza. All right. So let's apply what we've learned. Let's say you ended up with 120 pieces of candy after Halloween, and 37.5% or 37.5% have chocolate in them. How many pieces of candy have chocolate in them? Okay, well, again, 37.5. I know that's my percent, correct? 37.5 is my percent, which means I have on the right side 37.5 out of 100. I know that's my percent. Even though the problem doesn't tell me like the last ones have, I know my percent is out of 100. Okay, and I want to know how many pieces have chocolate in them. So, in my comparison, I can think about I'm comparing chocolate to the total. The things I'm comparing this problem, the total pieces that have chocolate in them compared to the total pieces of candy overall. Okay, so I know that down here, my 100 is my total percent. The 37.5 represents the amount that is chocolate. Okay, well, in my other comparison, I need to make sure chocolate goes on top and the total goes on bottom. Well, we don't know because we're trying to figure out how many pieces of candy have chocolate in them. So I know the chocolate is my variable, and I know the total is 120. And from here, cross multiply. Now this is a situation where I don't know what that is off the top of my head. There's no quick little trick in order to do it. So I'm currently getting my phone out to use my calculator. Use the calculator on your computer and do 120 times 37.5. Okay, when I do that, I type that in, I get 4,500. Okay, and then from there, I divide by that 100. Again, feel free to use your calculator or know your hundreds trick, cross out your zeros. And that leaves you with 45. Because what's happening here, I'm doing 45 divided by 1, which is 45. So, 45 pieces of candy. 45 pieces of candy have chocolate. Okay, so take a minute here and try out the next one on your own, and then check back with the video to see if you got the correct answer.